Yo, yo, what up?
Hey, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. Oh my god, this is so surreal. Thanks for having me. Hi, everyone.
Thanks for coming by. Everybody, it's Rina Sawayama.
Hey, it's Anthony
Singer-songwriter.
Fantano.
Yes, performer extraordinaire. Thanks for taking the time to come by.
Oh my god, thank you so much for having me. This is so surreal. I've never done a live video as well, so
Yeah, I'm sort of branching out into this. You know, these little
I love it.
afternoon chill hangouts with people who people
Yay!
know from the channel. So what's going on?
Yeah, I've got a fire on.
Oh wow.
It's a TV.
You're feeling
I've got a
really
massive
festive.
TV for Black. So I'm just like testing it out.
Yeah, let's catch up with everything that's been going on since you last had a review on the channel, gave your EP of the year,
Yes,
um, and
thank you so much.
no, that's you don't need to thank me. Thank you for making good music. You dropped a handful of singles, a couple of singles throughout the year, but musically, at least as far as like studio recordings and everything, 2018 has been relatively quiet for you. What has sort of been happening for you throughout the year? Have you been engaging in other opportunities? Have you been kind of like artistically evolving here, sort of like under the radar, and you're going to be kind of like bringing something bigger in 2019?
Yeah, so oh my God, this year's been so mental. So I dropped the EP in late October last year.
Hmm.
And yeah, like I mean I've watched your channel for a long time, so it was such a fucking shock when thank you so much, by the way, honestly. It really like yeah, I mean it was so important to me, reviewing it first of all. But after that, yeah, it was just promo. Like I've just been promoting, and
Yeah.
only in the past month or so since the second tour finished, I've just basically when you're promoting, you're just like a bit like a robot, and
Yeah.
you're kind of just doing the motions, doing pressed, and your life is just keyboard admin, just and I've really only got to just figuring out what I want to write about in my album, really. So I've been doing a lot of writing. I set up my home studio properly. It's called The Womb, so I can like write about what I like. Um, I am, yeah, I'm trying to, taking a trip back to Japan in January, February to like see my family. Oh, sorry, that's my dog.
That's fine.
Um,
We're a dog positive Instagram live stream right
good.
now. This is dog positive.
She's very appreciative. She's showing her appreciation. Um, yeah, I'm gonna go see my family and just yeah, I'm solidifying my next album ideas at the moment because it is like kind of what they say is like you've got like your whole life to write your first EP, and then your first album you gotta write in like a year. So yeah, I'm putting gentle pressure on myself to write it, but at the moment it's yeah, just going back to being an artist and just leaving that right side of the brain, just really getting stuck in with writing.
Well, part of what you described there really interests me in terms of the creative process because you're saying you're setting up your own home studio to sort of like conceive and sort of produce this whole thing.
Yeah, so I when me and Clarence Clarity wrote the album, my studio was not a studio, it was a bedroom.
Hmm.
So now I've moved into the bigger bedroom next to it because my flatmates moved out. So then I've got a spare room and I've changed that into it's probably I've put up soundproof. I'm gonna put up soundproofing and yeah, all sorts of stuff. So slightly more formal than next time, but it's
Hmm.
important for me that I've got people and like the environment where I can just write what I need to write for the next record.
And just kind of move at your own pace too, and independently as well.
Yeah, definitely. So the next album I am thinking of signing because I'm still deliberating who I'm gonna go with. But yeah, I it's a lot of work in being independent. It really is. And I've done some this year I've been lucky enough to do some acting and also some commercial opportunities that's going to come out in the next year. So doing all that and being an artist and being like pretty much the CEO of like the record label that you're running
So
is a
Yama
lot.
Industries.
Yeah. It was getting a bit much. So
Yeah.
this album I really want it to go further as well, like in terms of reach. I just didn't we were getting requests from countries that I had no representation. I had no way to get there. So yeah, it was tricky, but yeah, just kind of reshuffling. But yeah, so far I've worked with different recordings, which is under PS for the last two singles. So yeah, which has been quite nice. And then obviously Valentine was released through 88 Rising, so I've kind of been doing lots of different labels at the moment. But yeah.
Okay. So a lot of different labels are courting you at the moment, essentially.
Yeah, I'd say you know, and I'm just kind of, I've been, the last couple of months I've been whittling them down to like the ones who are really really serious, and yeah,
Is
just
there
not there
a
to
Sawayama bidding war going on behind the scenes that we're like not aware of? Like,
no, it's not nothing that crazy. I mean, yeah, there's several people who are like really really interested, and you know, yeah, I've taken meetings with a lot of labels, and you'd be so surprised with the major labels who try and who I think they're like really interested in what I do, don't necessarily want to sign me, but they want the information. So they like get me in, and then I'm like, I like halfway through me telling my story, I'm like, I'm giving away a lot here, and then after the meeting, I'm like,
are you getting like the idea that they're just trying to like copy whatever it is you did to get where you are?
100%. They're like, who creative directs your stuff? And I'm like, me. And they're like, oh,
oh,
who choreographs your stuff? I'm like, oh, I've got this person, like, you know, Joel, and they're like, oh, cool. Oh, what's there that, you know, just yo, like
That's so scummy.
you know, I get it. Like they want the ideas, and
yeah, no, absolutely.
yeah. And then I kind of don't hear back from them after. I'm like, oh, okay, that's what it was about.
That's disappointing.
Yeah, but you know, it's cool. Like it's just that's the sort of shit that like I guess people just don't know about, you know. And but I'm glad that they want to take my ideas. Like it means my ideas are good. So
Yeah, I mean it's definitely a sign of flattery, I guess. And you know, it's good to see you in a position that I think a lot of fans don't necessarily understand or appreciate, where you do reach a point where signing, you just really kind of feel like you're between a wall and a hard place, because or a rock and a hard place, because there's just so much to manage, and there's so much that you could be doing if you had support or a team or whatever, but you can't just accomplish all of it on your own if you want to keep continuing to put like 100% of yourself into the creative side and everything, because managing everything outside of creating the music that you have to continue to create and to keep your career going is like 3, 4, 5 full-time jobs on top of it.
it really is just even the social media, making sure I get shit registered, you know, like I mean I've got a bigger team now, so it's great, but even just like when I've got an idea for a video, like to execute that would take like weeks and weeks of admin. But now, you know, when you've got a label, you say the idea, they get the directors, you get pitched, and it's just so much smoother. And then you can go back to writing. And the songs are the most important thing for me, is to get the best songs out of my brain. And to do that, I actually can't have all this kind of scheduling and admin stuff in my head. So yeah, that's my next step at the moment.
You know, let me ask your opinion on your sound and where you sort of see it fitting in kind of the current pop landscape at the moment, because in my view, it would seem like a lot of what you're doing kind of makes sense in this grander scheme of a lot of these artists and producers, whether it be Clarence Clarity or like Charlie XCX or something like that, who are taking pop in like this postmodern, futuristic direction, whether it be with the sound, the visuals, but there's also like this overt referencing back to a lot of the pop music of the 2000s. Would you say, continuing forward with your next record, is that going to be the sound you're going to keep pushing with? Or are you basically going to take what was on your EP and refine it, maybe make it a bit bigger and a bit more, I guess, slicker, sort of groomed for a larger, more mass audience? Or are you going to be kind of like throwing a left hook, doing something different?
So I reckon it's going to be a mix of the two, because really I feel so connected to the songs I did on the EP. And you know, like I don't know if you know this, but like, you know, Clarence Clarity is going to be executive producing my album. So
Okay, so he's
you know,
still involved.
he's involved
Great.
like every step of the way. Yeah, love him. So, we're gonna make sure that sonically it all ties in together. But definitely with songwriting, I've been working with some incredible co-writers, because really like the EP was just pretty much me and the producer. There wasn't anyone else helping me with songwriting in the room, and actually having that help has been incredible. I've been able to write some more, just to refine my writing a bit more. And yeah, that does definitely mean something that sounds slightly more commercial. But this is why I was so keen on having Clarence Clarity do the executive production, because for me, an album is an experience. Like for me, his album Think Peace is like, I'm also like known like everything. It just all ties in as an album, and that is the experience as a listener that I want. But yeah, there'll be a couple of singles that are definitely a bit more center leaning, but then there'll be other songs that are a little bit more left leaning. There's a song called Dynasty that I did on the tour, and that's like Evanescence and Tattoo, and that kind of like, it's got the guitars, but it's a bit more metal, and so
that sound is coming back all of a sudden. That is insane.
What?
It is coming back. With, I mean, did you hear the new Grime single?
Yeah,
Like
exactly,
that sound is coming back.
I was fucking screaming when she did that, because like, oh my god, that is the sound that I've been obsessed with right now, and like, definitely a portion of my album is like, so yeah, I'm so happy that like we're kind of like connected, and we talk as well. So I'm like, oh, I love that she's doing that, and yeah, she's a massive inspiration to me. So it'll be a mix. I want some singles. Like for me, radio is a big key for me next year. So yeah, there'll be some singles which are a bit more kind of wider.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to be happy touring just with that sound. I've got to be touring with the sound that I'm, obsessed with and I love. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, having writers and having other people's sort of like thoughts in the creative process can be really great. I mean, it's something that I think a lot of people don't necessarily appreciate as a part of the advantage of having, like a band or something. But when you're a solo artist, sort of writing entirely on your own can be both a blessing and a curse, because it can feel a little isolating, which is why I think it's ingeniously smart to have somebody like Clarence executive producing in a way, because he can be sort of like a filter through that process, so you don't get lost in just the dozens of other opinions that are going to be thrown at you over the course of sort of writing and producing the album, no doubt.
100%. And I go into sessions now saying that is the deal, so they know, because otherwise a lot of producers, like, they don't want to give it up, like they don't want to. But the people who want to work with me in terms of songwriting, like, they know that they're interested in the sound they're interested in me because of the EP, so they know that's that's the way it is, and they're cool. They've been pretty cool with it, so it's been good. But yeah, it's so important to me, that experience of an album. And and who better, he is kind of like my band. Like, we've been touring together for 2 tours, we just we supported Years and Years the O2 together. He MDs my sets. He just, like, we connect like that on a music level so much that I can't think of doing an album with anyone else.
How did you guys end up crossing paths anyways?
It was actually, I want to be like, yeah, we met on the internet, but yeah, actually it was really kind of boring, like through management. But then, yeah, I know, it's really shit.
I mean, that's totally fine, because I think most people just sort of assume it's all through the internet anyway, which isn't like that exciting of a story to begin with, but management's totally fine.
True. Well, yeah, it started off in an official kind of way. Like, I was testing out like producers. I wasn't really clicking. And then I had this song called Love Tonight, which was Alter Life, right? So the original one was like a Haim vibe, like it was much lighter, yeah.
Okay.
And it was like, give me your love tonight, and I was like, no, because originally when I wrote it when I was 19 or something, it was Alter Life, and I went through a period where I was kind of like, sterilizing everything I did and to try and making it commercials, and then it changed to Love Tonight, and then I was like, no, I want to change it to Alter Life. Gave it to Clarence Carity, and he just, as you hear it on the track, that he did that in the first session, and I was like, what the fuck is this guy on? Like, I didn't actually get back in touch with him for a couple months. I was a bit like scared of what he did.
Mm-hmm. Oh, really?
So yeah, I kind of like, because it's in London, I can't think of anyone who would have done that with the track that was there originally. It was so different. Like, imagine Haim, like that very light kind of vibe, and then I just wasn't really ready. And then a couple months later we revisited it, and I was like, actually this is amazing. And then we just kept working, and then Take Me As I Am came to my mind when I was like in a corner shop, and then I recorded my voice in a voice note and then showed it to him, and I had the beat in a completely different place that he did, and then I trusted him, and then that was the song. And he's so quick, and his setup is so minimal. He only works with a laptop and Ableton, that's it. He doesn't have all this fancy equipment, he doesn't need it. So he just comes to my house and we write, and then we can get it done in like a day. So pretty much all the tracks that you heard, I think 10/24 is the one that took the longest actually, but other than that, yeah, all of that was pretty much done in like the skeleton was really done in one session.
That's insane that his setup is just so simple, you would assume, with all of his sounds.
I know. Yeah, I mean, I've been to sessions where people are just obsessed with gear, and it's just like all on the walls. There's like 10 different synths, and no, he is literally his laptop from like 2014. Like, he's got his interface that he brings. He's got his laptop and a mouse, and that is it. So yeah, you don't need gear to write maximal music like he does. I don't know what's inside Ableton. He might have a lot of plugins, and I'm sure he has a lot of instruments in there. But yeah, so he's amazing.
I mean, certainly, as you just kind of say right there, he's clearly had an influence on your sound, and that he's pulled it a little left field. But I feel like in working with you, his sound is almost sweetened up a little bit, his own personal recordings and stuff. Because his new record is, so. Yeah, most definitely his new record is definitely his most accessible yet. And sort of having him sort of work so deeply on the EP that he had with you, it's almost like coming off of that, he was going for a poppier, sort of a bit more slick, a bit smarter sound.
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess so. I didn't even think about that, to be honest, but maybe, yeah, I guess, because No Now was like so crazy.
It's like borderline avant-garde as far as pop goes.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think we're both kind of challenging ourselves. He has said a couple of times that he wants to kind of bring the production down a bit, and I'm like, no, keep it the same. But I get what he means. Like a lot of mainstream pop is so minimal, and sounds like it's 3 tracks.
No, it does. But I think the potential challenge that you guys present is that, you definitely have a sound and a songwriting sensibility that could go much bigger. But I think, the opportunity is there to sort of like change things up a little bit, and basically like give pop listeners something else other than what like they're hearing on it's a good record, but like other than what they're hearing on like an Ariana Grande record or something like that, Moving on from there, speaking from, I guess, more of a personal place as far as like, where you're from and everything. Over the past year also, while you've been promoting and you've been landing, magazine covers and getting your name out there and performing and so on and so forth, there's been this like huge explosion in like, in Asian representation in pop music, whether it be, and just hip hop too, whether it be through the sort of wave of K-pop we've seen over here, which is just like unrelenting. Like every day there's like another group that's like getting huge, and 88 Rising, you already mentioned earlier. For you personally, who's, you're not a part of a group, you're still a solo artist. You're not, you said that 88 Rising is interested. I don't know if you're going to join up with them or anything, but, do you feel kind of inspired in this current meta where labels and groups like that and sort of music from the Far East is sort of like turning way more heads in the U.S. than it ever has at any other time in pop music history?
Yeah, I was just talking about this to my manager, and sometimes I get like a little down. Like, I've suffered with depression for a while, but I get a bit down with, like, I'm still in a geographical space in London
Mm.
where East Asian representation is not like it is in the US.
Mm.
There's not as many Asian people here anyway, but yeah, I get down. I'm like, because when I performed at the O2, I was like, this is amazing, and I want to be that person. But to create that imagination in my head, sometimes it doesn't come, as quickly. So I struggle with that sometimes. But then I realized that, yeah, then I look stateside and I'm just like, whoa, yeah, like Crazy Rich Asians came out and, did so well at the box office. And like, yeah, Mitski, Japanese Breakfast, Haley Kiyoko, um, yeah, all of 88 Rising. Like, I went to see BTS, they sold out 2 nights at the O2, But then going back to some label meetings that I would go to, and I'd be like, yeah, I met RM from BTS, and he's really nice, like, whatever. And then they'll be like, what BTS? Who's BTS?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And yeah, exactly. And it makes me so angry, but I just realized that there's a long way to go, long way. Because I'm still gonna be based in London, and for me is, the UK scene is important to me, so it's still a long way to go. But yeah, it's crazy. This year has been incredible, and yeah, I'm supportive of like everyone who has been behind that, because it's weird. It kind of it's like it takes a group of people to do it, and then it kind of pushes through, and then we can all kind of push through in the same way. But yeah, it's a really great time to be doing music as an Asian person.
That's really intriguing that K-pop hasn't taken over there in the way that it has over here. I think as an American, having heard and enjoyed so much music from the UK, I just kind of take for granted that so much of what pops on over here in an English speaking country is also the case, in another English speaking country for the most part, but it's just so
Well,
not the case.
down on the ground, I think, yeah, like K-pop is taking off for
Oh,
sure.
really?
It's just the industry is not accepting it as a thing.
Mm.
Like, they think, oh, they're here and they must have a really niche fan base. And I'm just like, no, they sold out literally 30,000 tickets. Like, that is
Mm.
a big deal.
That's huge.
Exactly. And they just, they I don't know, they don't want to hear it. I don't know. I just, and someone actually said to me in a meeting, how does, and this is bearing in mind they were like so interested in my project, so how do you have a connection with Japan? And I was like, right, okay, well, it's just, I don't even think people are thinking like that.
Yeah.
Which is fine. It's like, I just gotta get on with what I'm doing. I love what I'm doing, so I just gotta get on with it, and then just inspire them to get with it.
Working with a label and even independently on your upcoming record, outside of writers and everything like that, and producers or anything who you might be picking up, are you using the connections that you've made in the industry to maybe get any features or collaborators who we might know about or might be excited to see you working with on your upcoming record?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I don't know about features yet, but definitely collaborators. I mean, there's a list of people who I'd love to work with, and then there's a list of people who we're already talking, whether it's like a collaboration or a feature capacity. Like, yeah, like, I mean, me and Charlie XCX have been talking for like a couple months. She let me go on stage with her at Pop 2 in London and sing Backseat, which is like my favorite song. And yeah, there's a funny story about that, because she was like, should I introduce you just before you go on? I was like, no, because everyone think I'm Carly Rae Jepsen. And then they'll be like, who the fuck is it? But yeah, so anyway, she did a really nice intro for me. It was amazing. Anyway, so yeah, she would be great. We are literally in 2 different places all the time. She's in LA, I'm in London. Like, I'm in LA, she's in London, or we're both super busy. But yeah, we, like, me and Grimes have been talking for like a while, just chatting, and she said some like the most amazing things about my EP. And yeah, I've got Blood Pop. I've done a song with him, and that he's kind of, I guess he's like teased that already. Hopefully that will come out early next year. But yeah, like so many incredible people that have just got in touch over social media, not via managers. And that's been the most incredible thing about maybe being independent, that you're just, you know, people, you're more, maybe you're more accessible in a way.
Yeah, you can have an actual conversation.
Yeah,
um,
exactly.
and on top of that, what do you have coming up in the immediate future right now? You know, are you doing more promo? Are you getting right into the studio and recording? Are you doing any more tour dates or live appearances soon?
So yeah, what am I doing? I
Do you need to check your
I'm like,
calendar?
you know, at this point of the year, you're like, your brain just starts shutting
Well,
down.
holidays are coming up, so hopefully you'll be relaxing.
I'm relaxing. Yeah. On my holidays, I'll be relaxing. Um, Otherwise, yeah. What am I doing? I'm just writing a lot at home. I'm almost having to just go back to a place that I was like last year, year and a half ago when I was writing the record, and just getting there. Oh, what am I doing? I'm not. I'm doing a lot of. I've got a show, like I've got a little like appearance on Netflix TV series next
Oh, okay.
year, early next year. I
Yeah, I
don't
mean,
know
you
how to
you
get that.
you said you said you were doing some acting. So I mean, what sort of
So like
opportunities on that front have opened up?
yeah. I've always wanted to do it, so I had an opportunity, and I'm in like a couple of episodes of a new series. So
Okay.
that should be exciting. And then, yeah, I'm just gonna have to crack on with writing. I will be spending a lot of time with Clarence Clarity, driving him insane probably, and then finishing the record. And then hopefully we're talking about Asia. But yeah, I've got a couple of shows. I've got All Pointies coming up. Yeah, just bits and bobs. But tour wise, I did 2 short tours in the US, and it was incredible. But I was like, it doesn't feel fair to like tour on this record again.
Yeah,
So I got to come back with new material. Yeah, that's it. And then hopefully middle to late next year is when I will be in full album mode. And I am really, really kind of coming up with a brand new concept for that. And it'll be really exciting. There'll be a lot of changes. And I just want to really push myself with the next record, so it'd be good.
Okay, hype, hype.
Hype.
All right, well, thank you, Rina Sawayama, for coming on here and giving us an update on everything that's been going on and everything that you're going to be doing in 2019. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Thanks so much for having me, and always, yeah, the love. I
All
saw
right.
the love. Thank you. All
Have a
right.
rest of your night and relax.
Thanks. All right. See ya.
All right, bye. Cool. All right.
All right.
That was fun.